Hey guys, it's Pam Godboys from Pam Godboys Yoga and Wellness. And I have some more ball rolling for you today. I know there's been some people asking me about ball rolling and releasing muscles. And I'm going to do ball roll the upper back and lower back with you today. So what you're going to need for this is a set of balls. So one of the reasons I love the yoga tune-ups is they come in this little bag and they allow for some space. Now, if you don't have balls, but you have like a small, not like a large foam roller, but one of those small little rollers, or you're using a single ball, you can do the same thing. You'll just do one side at a time. So I'll show you both options. So if you have two balls, we're going to start by drawing them into the upper back. So we're going to come up into the rhomboid region. If you were to take your hand and bring it back, you'd be able to reach that region with your fingertips. It's just inside the shoulder blades. And I've made a little bit of space in the bag so that I can, so that my spine can fit right in there. I'm going to slowly come back onto the balls, make sure I'm in the right spot. Yeah, that's the one. Let the head release back. You might stay here for a breath or two. If you're on one ball, so we're going to do this all at the same time. So if you're on one ball, you just be on one side. So if you had like one, I often will use this one. Any size ball, you can bring it, let's say to the left side. And we'll walk the feet in, lift the hips up about an inch. You can shift, if you have two balls, you'll stay in the center. If you have one ball, you'll shift over to that side. And then we'll start moving the arms. So I'm going to move the arms as if I have two balls because I have two balls. If you have one ball, you're just going to do it on one side, the side that the ball's on. So the arms will come to the sky. They can reach back behind. Ooh, you might notice that's a big one. Back to center, across the body. Back to center. And reach back behind. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale across the midline. Exhale back to center. Inhale, reach up above the head. Exhale, across the body. You can take your time here, moving a little faster than you might want to move. I've done this a million times. And then we'll press into the feet, shrug the shoulders up so that you can roll down. So we have one, same action. I'm going to press into the feet, roll back this way so the balls roll down. And we'll come down about an inch or so. Walk the feet back in, and we're going to do the same thing. Lift the hips. You might add a little movement here, a little rocking from side to side of the shoulders. If you have one ball, you're going to press to that side. And then maybe you start to add a little, like, imagining you're doing snow angels. So this action. And you can do it if you're in limited space. You can do what I call the funky chicken. Or the chicken dance, you know. You might just add a little side to side. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to bring the hands in front of us as if we're boxing. Some of you might actually box. And then you're going to act like you're bobbing and weaving. So you're going to go up with one side. And so if you only have one ball in, you're going to go up and then down on that side. If you have two balls in, you're going to really focus on both sides and notice, like, okay, that one goes up. That one goes up. That one goes down. That one goes down. So we're just kind of carving along the inner edge of that shoulder blade. So we're here, here. So you might think of when you're throwing a punch, what this looks like. It's that action up and down. We'll take a few breaths doing that. And then we're going to roll again. So we're going to lift the body up, press into the feet, lift the hips up, and then roll the balls down so they come to just below the bottom of the bra. And so I don't want to hear anybody say, I don't know where that is, because everybody knows where that is. Even if you're a man, you know where that is. So the balls will come right below the bra. I can guarantee you that for most of you this is going to be intense and you're going to want to stay here. Don't come down. Woo! And what will happen is the ribs will pop up. That's okay. To start, take a breath or two here, walk the feet in, press the hips up a little bit, and push the ribs down. So as if you're trying to do core work here. So instead of being here in this position, I pull the ribs and the pelvis towards each other. And that creates a lot of pressure on the balls, but that's okay. Maybe a little side-to-side movement. You might hang out there for a few breaths, and then we'll roll down again. I'm going faster than you would probably want to go. You might want to stay there for 10, 15, 20 breaths, but I'm just telling you how we're doing this. And then as we roll down again, we come to the bottom edge of the rib cage, and you might start to shift a little. So if you're on one side, you might shift the weight in. So if you're on one side, you're going to do one whole side, and then you're going to go back and do the other whole side. You might shift the weight to one side and then the other. You might notice one side of the rib cage a little bit more sensitive. As a matter of fact, when I get massages, my massage therapist is always, my body worker, he's always pressing into my rib cage, and he's like, release your ribs, release your ribs, release your ribs. So that area can get really tight, even on us yogis who practice a lot of stretching and opening. I'll take another breath or two here. And then we're going to remove the balls and come all the way down onto the back. I'll just take a moment, notice how the back feels. So if you've done one side, you can rewind and move over to the other side, or if you remember the sequence, rhomboid area, upper trap, right at the top of the shoulder blade, and then mid to low shoulder blade, then underneath the bra strap, then bottom of the rib cage. Those are all the spots. And we did this with the arm up, across the midline, back, up, across the midline, up, back, with the upper shoulder blade, and then we threw the punches with the lower shoulder blade, and then we started to add in some kind of side-to-side wiggling with the rib cage. And then we're going to move on to my favorite spot, which is the low back. So for the low back, you want something that you can do both sides, ideally. If not, you can do one side and then switch over. Just make sure you don't roll over the spine. So we're going to take the balls, the space in between space in between is where the spine goes, and the balls go on either side of the spine. And then the balls are going to come just above, like the bottom of, they're just above your pant line. So just above the pelvis. There's like soft tissue there. It's the area for most of us where we're like, oh, my back hurts, and that's the spot. That's it. So if you've done a leg day and your low back is bothering you, this is going to be a great roll out for you. And mine just, my SI joint and low back just like popped, which was okay. It was a gentle pop. But you might find that when you ball roll, if you've never ball rolled before. If you roll and open the joints, you might find that you'll like move and something will crack, and you'll be like, oh, I've been holding on to tension in that joint. I'm so glad it did. And then with the low back, you might add in a little side to side, kind of like you're dancing, like you're shimmying the hips from side to side, or you might rock the knees from side to side. Another one that some people tend to like is to draw one knee in. You can draw one knee in and add movement. You can draw one knee in and grab on and use the arms to pull down on the ball. And then maybe switch to the other side. And plant the feet down. Maybe you bring both up. Sometimes I like to do that. You just want to make sure that you don't start doing this like pitch through, because that just creates more tension in the low back. Keep drawing the tail down. Maybe add in movement. Maybe you choose no movement. And we'll bring the balls out and just notice how the spine feels. The whole thing from top to bottom. So if you did one side then the other, that's great. You want to do shoulder to rib cage, and then low back. So don't go all the way down, because then he'll be too out of balance and too unproportionate on the two sides with the spine, and you don't want that for too long. So if you have questions, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Pam@pamgodboys.com, or on my website at pamgodboys.com. You can also find me on my YouTube channel. Pam Godboys Yoga and Wellness, and on Beauty Flex's YouTube channel. So I look forward to hearing from you, and if you have any questions, let me know. Take care.